Welcome to the Midweek message. We're taking some lessons from the book of Jude, and I'm reading from Jude verses 5 through 7, and this is from the New English translation of the Bible. Jude verse 5. Now I desire to remind you, even though you have been fully informed of these facts once for all, that Jesus, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, later destroyed those who did not believe. You also know that the angels who did not keep within their proper domain, but abandoned their own place of residence, he has kept in eternal chains in utter darkness, locked up for the judgment of the great day. So also Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring towns, since they indulged in sexual immorality and pursued unnatural desire in a way similar to these angels, are now displayed as an example by suffering the punishment of eternal flame. We're going to look at these verses individually. Jude is writing to warn his readers that false teachers have infiltrated the church, and he would prefer to write about salvation to them and grace and the love of God and God's sacrifice of his son Jesus for us. But he said, I need to remind you of some things, and that is there's a danger of false teaching in the church. And a portion of this had to do with the very basis of salvation, that Jesus was the only way to heaven. But another portion of it had to do with the lifestyle that these people were teaching, the immoral lifestyle, the permitting or maybe even encouraging. And so in verses 5 through 7, Jude is giving a warning to his readers that there is a very real danger of falling away. We could say falling from grace. Let's look at these verses individually. Verse 5. Now I desire to remind you, even though you have been fully informed of these facts once for all, that Jesus, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, later destroyed those who did not believe. So God delivered his people from Egypt and Egyptian bondage, but that deliverance did not hold as they rebelled against God and were destroyed. It's interesting that it says that Jesus, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, and we have to remember that when God acts, Jesus acts, even though Jesus was not mentioned in the Old Testament. So Jesus delivers people and then later visits them with judgment. Verse 6, you also know that the angels who do not keep within their proper domain but abandon their own place of residence, he has kept in eternal chains in utter darkness, locked up for the judgment of the great day. Even the angelic creations who did not remain in their proper position, who abandoned their position, abandoned propriety and God's will for them, even them, they were cast out of one residence, one domain, into eternal darkness and are awaiting judgment of the great day, judgment day. And so the people that were delivered from Egypt were not spared from judgment when they rebelled. The angels were not spared from judgment when they rebelled. And verse 7, so also Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring towns, since they indulged in sexual immorality and pursued unnatural desire in a way similar to these angels, are now displayed as an example by suffering the punishment of eternal fire. So the delivered Israelites were not spared judgment. The angels were not spared judgment. In a similar way, Jude says, Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring towns, the cities of the plain, that indulged in sexual immorality, pursued unnatural desires, which are defined in Scripture, not defined by society, our government, culture. Natural desires are defined in Scripture. They are now understood, displayed as an example of God's punishment on people when people turn their backs on God. God judges those people. And so the warning is given to his readers that they hold fast to the true basis of faith. They hold fast to good Christian living and not be seduced into immorality, even unnatural types of sins. They maintain their position before God. They keep their faith and their affection and their closeness to God very real, because God will not spare those, even those he has delivered, if they turn their backs on him.